Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to look at the forecast for each life path number for the month of November 2023. Before we get into that, this, of course, is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading where we'll take a look at your actual personal numerology and dive a bit deeper into that, you can book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I would love to work with you. On that note, I'm getting ready to put out the the 2024 year ahead forecast for each life path number. I'll probably have those out in early November, or let's just say mid-November to be safe. But if you're interested in sort of getting ahead of the curve and you want to know your personal year ahead forecast, because it will be different than, potentially different than the life path forecast. If you want to know your personal year ahead forecast, then book some time with me. I would love to look at that for you. I will also include, if you book before January 2024, then I'll include any time up to that point. So if you book now, then you'll get the rest of October, November, December, and then all of 2024 in your forecast for your year ahead. So, and if you book in January, that's great too. You'll get all of 2024. So, if you're looking to maybe get figure out what's going on potentially for the next couple of months, then this is a great time to book because I will throw those additional months in for free. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at November. I can't believe we're already here, but here we are. So let's take a look. Life path number 1. So November actually has you focused on your own energy, so your own life path number. So you will be working very strongly with the energy of the 1. So what this is going to bring up, it's really going to bring up for you any area where it is that you really need to sort of focus on and master or fall more into alignment with your 1 energy. But sort of as overall general themes for this month, I think you'll see opportunities present themselves to you for you to be able to, take a risk, step into some kind of leadership role, share your very unique ideas. There is a genius, an unexplored genius to the 1. And a lot of times that discovery comes from you finding the confidence to share your ideas in your own unique way. Because a lot of times with 1 energy, you're meant to go against the grain. You're meant to do it differently. It has to feel aligned with you, right? It's got to, because it's ultimately your vision that you're, that's going to potentially create some greater resource or some greater solution. And so we can't really have a new solution to an old problem if we continue to do things that are tried and true or the old way, right? The way that we're used to doing it or always do it. Just because something is tried and true does not mean that it's the best way or the most effective way of doing something. And so part of this journey for you is, to be very solution focused and to come up with those solutions that others maybe haven't thought of. So doing things in your own unique way that includes taking a risk, because the only way to do something new and to maybe invent something new or come up with a new solution is to take a risk. Sometimes it'll pay off, sometimes it won't. But, if it doesn't pay off, then guess what? Try again, but in a different way, but stay true to your own unique vision. When the 1 steps outside of their own unique vision, and tries to conform, that's when you really start seeing a lot of stagnation or frustration or just feeling like you can't get ahead because you're trying to fall back into a mold that you don't fit into, right? A mold that's been set forth for you, but that you do not fit into. And so for you, it's about breaking free from that sort of mindset of I've got to do it the way I've been told to do it or the way that, quote unquote works. Because for you, it's about finding a new way, a better way, a more effective and a more efficient way. So I do think, and this can be like, with relationships, with career, with whatever, however the 1 shows up, right, in this lifetime is meant to be a unique genius, right? So something that's potentially unmeasurable because it hasn't been done yet. Because guess what? You're the one that's going to be blazing that trail and doing it. So I do think that you may have opportunities this month to stay within your uniqueness, stay within your own independent, your own identity, right? I don't want to say independence because though there is a strong energy with the one with independence, right? And sort of forging that path ahead, sometimes alone. There's also this very strong need for the one to also be interdependent, right? To work with others, to lead, but lead alongside of others. So, and to listen to and be open to other perspectives. So you may have an idea come in or a vision or something like that you want to move towards, but it's also important to remember that a big part of the journey includes having those conversations with others, understanding the need that others have before starting to really embark on whatever it is that you're embarking on, because it might be that you're creating a resource that people aren't ready for. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Might be that you're creating a resource that people aren't ready for. They're not ready to understand it yet. Does that mean that you don't do it? No, of course not. Do it. Go for it. Make it happen, because they will eventually step into that energy. But with a one, you're sort of ahead of the curve in a lot of ways, or you're meant to be, right? Like you're sort of up 20 miles ahead and the rest of us are kind of behind. And that's not a negative thing. It's just you're up there, blazing that trail. And we're kind of coming up behind you. And then eventually we get there and we're like, oh, I see. This does work. Or this does make sense. Or this is a new solution, or blah, 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 blah. So don't let that sort of progressiveness keep you from following your dreams, going after, creating, being the inventor, all of those things. Because, and let me just say this. So we're going to need it, right? Potentially. So do that, right? Because it is an outlet for your creativity. But the other thing I would say about that is it would not hurt to also have those conversations with people to see what is it that they actually need now? Like what is a resource or a solution that is needed now? So it's kind of like this dance, right? Like where you're doing these more progressive things, but you're also very in the here and now and paying attention to what people are actually saying that they need. And then with your ingenuity, you come up with that solution. So my point is, in some area of your life, you may see an opportunity come in for you where you are the visionary. You are the one who's going to take the lead on this. You just need to make sure that you're having the conversation with people to make sure that the direction that you're moving in is a direction that is going to help now. Not to say you neglect your desire to be more progressive, because again, absolutely needed. So just kind of find a balance there, I guess is what I would say. The other thing I would say is there's definitely something here, of course, about assertiveness, not aggression, but assertiveness. So, again, asking for what you need, showing up, recognizing where your limitations are, and then calling in the backup where the people who have those strengths, where you have limitations, because then you can be full steam ahead. The one sometimes falls into this mode of feeling like it has to do it all itself. There is such strong independence there, right? So it does become sort of this lone wolf kind of energy, but that is not effective nor efficient, right? And so you are not meant to do it alone. It's meant to be your vision, and you're meant to maintain the integrity of that vision. But you do not have to do it alone. You are going to have limitations. And so you need to recognize where those limitations are, call in the assistance to help you with those limitations. And then you can really go full force ahead. So if you, let's say that you're an entrepreneur and your strengths are not in marketing, your business or whatever, you can recognize that that's not a strength. You don't have to figure out how to do it alone. Call in the people who can, who are experts at that, and ask for help, get the assistance, right? So because there's, we can't be sort of experts in everything. It's just not possible, as much as we may want to sometimes. So the point is, recognize where your limitations are and call in the backup, call in the help, and then receive that help without feeling like you have to try to do it all alone. Because you will sort of slow yourself down in that sense. You will sort of be self-sabotaging without recognizing it if you try to be too independent on your journey. So all these things could be coming in pretty strongly this month. Also, you've got tiger energy that you're working with as your animal wisdom message. And what instantly came in with this is sort of strategy over impulse. Because with one energy, it's always possible to be very impulsive. It can be a very impulsive energy. And then there's sometimes a little bit of remorse with that impulsivity. So there's something here about strategy. If we think about the tiger, there's they will stalk their prey to make sure that the effort or the energy they expend is worth it, right? Or feels worth it. They're not going to chase after for 20 miles a little mouse, right? Because the return of investment is not going to be worth the energy that they're expending. So they have to make sure that, it's a very calculated, strategic approach. And I do think that there's something to be said about that for you all for November. There's something that might come in for you that might be very easy to be very impulsive or, just jump, take that leap without sort of looking. But there has to be some strategy. And so that it can be a continuous burn and not in just this combustible, explosion, and then your energy's gone. So definitely keep in mind strategy versus impulsivity this month. I think it's going to be important to have a strategy and then continue to come back to that strategy. Revise if you need to revise, but just be mindful of being too impulsive. So I hope it's an awesome November. Take care, ones. Bye for now.